Welcome to Talking Trail. Tonight we've got a very special guest and returning host, Mike Dunstan. Congratulations, Mike. Mike's just come back from a huge win in the UTA100. And we've also got Rob Hinshaw back at the table again.
I couldn't miss this one. This is too good.
So, Mike, how are you feeling?
Yeah, today I feel more sleepy than I have the last couple of days, but yeah, it's been pretty surreal. Hasn't really sunk in that well, but happy that my body feels pretty good, and yeah, just eating lots and sleeping lots at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, I always found that the first 3 or 4 days I'd just still be consuming a huge amount. But I also found that by about day 5 or 6, I'd be doing my fastest 10K that I'd done all year. Yeah. So
I
did you
reckon
found
about
that?
2
Like
weeks
that you
after.
just, for you, 2 weeks after? Yeah.
Yeah, my coach will not let me run for a week and a bit, and I'll just probably get on the stationary bike tomorrow and do some easy stuff. But yeah, I can. Yeah, I definitely think a couple of weeks or like even 3 weeks or a month after, like you do get a boost of fitness if you recover from it well. Yeah.
So going into the UTA 100 this year, how were you feeling in the lead up?
It was actually such a different lead up. I guess to start, I think I identified last year that there's a certain amount of training that I can do with being able to balance working, being able to actually catch up with family or like call people or these things and function as a normal human being. So over summer, like did less training, and then I said to my coach that I'd like to try do less running in the lead up, but a bit more intentional, and then some easy stuff on the bike, which led me to feel like quite like relaxed mentally. I remember saying to him like a couple of weeks out, it's like, oh, like feel like really fit, but also like quite fresh mentally, and it was really nice. But I think the biggest thing in the training block was like it's pretty cool to do it at home and get to share it with friends and running places. And I was running so much just out the front door and then going to do a long run in Jamison or something, and it just was really like quite low stress in that sense, being able to save time, and that's a luxury for sure. But yeah, I just had a lot of fun in the lead up and was feeling fit. And then I guess like when you get fit, sometimes you go like, oh no, like I feel really fit. Like I hope it can translate on race day. But overwhelmingly, it was just having fun in life in the lead up. So great.
So was your time on the bike mountain biking, road bike, spin bike? What?
It was more specifically just spin bike inside with the heater on and some like I would say it's like light to moderate heat training. Like it's in recovery heart rate, but like very sweaty, but just drinking a lot of fluid. I think just being wary that like it is May here, but if it is a really like we could have got a 20-degree day that would have been like humid as in the valley, and it's not easy to run.
No.
So I was doing maybe three heat on the bike a week between 30 to 60 minutes. Yeah.
When did you decide that you were jumping in the UTA 100?
Yeah. I think it was maybe around. It must have been around February or February, because I decided I wanted to do Razorback because that was in March, and a race and course that excited me just to run. But I was really surprised by how much I was enjoying flatter running over the summer. And then coming back from Perth, from seeing family over Christmas, and then like going and running the flatter trails that I'd probably neglected a little bit in the Blue Mountains, and enjoying them a lot. I was like, oh, like I'd actually like to go run like UTA and work on my fire trail running a bit and that. So I signed up.
When you say flatter trails, you're talking about out in the Megalong, that area, or?
I guess I was definitely running. I guess they're not flat, but flatter relative to.
It's all relative.
Yeah, flatter relative to like Eastern Solitary and all the Kadumba and stuff. But I was running a lot from home onto Narrow Neck, which is maybe you're looking it was a lot of running where it was like 10K with 300 versus the lot steep stuff, or going to Hanging Rock and having a run, or even like I never was doing like an Anderson's Loop or a Tablelands Road or anything like that. And then this blocker went out there. I was like, wow, you can run out here.
Yeah.
It was a nice change. Like, it's a long climb out of that, but it's runnable if you're feeling good. And so that's when I decided I was like, I'd like to try something new. I think in the past maybe I'd probably shied away from it, being scared or not thinking I'd do well at it, maybe in fear of, of probably failing at it. And but yeah, then having fun with it over summer, I was like, oh, just got to try.
Yeah, yeah. And so your approach, you sort of backed off a little bit and sort of did it more the way that made you feel good and had a more balanced life. But was there anything that was quite specific to this race that kind of stands out as something that?
Yeah, in like a training sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like a big thing was instead of doing like 2 uphill sessions a week, there was one uphill session. Like say for instance, the first week would be an uphill tempo, and then the second session of the week would be like flat intervals, like shorter, like maybe like 1 minute reps or even shorter, like working on flat speed, so like quite fast, and that's probably something that's different. So working on actually. I think for me, I realized like I probably hadn't learned like biomechanically and even like the brain body link of how do I actually move fast. And so over time, I was like, oh wow, like maybe I hadn't really learned to run on the flats at higher end speed. And that was after UTMB. I started doing some flat sessions. I was like, it's not my fitness that's the problem. I actually just can't move fast enough. I don't know how to run.
Yeah.
So you got the endurance, but not that raw speed.
Yeah, and that's been the biggest change. Is actually, I guess, like, trying to work on running form, like on the flats and things like that. And then I would ring my coach and be like, "My goodness, like I'm doing like more flat sessions, but it's translating to how I run uphill because." Yeah, it feels like it raises the ceiling of what you can do on the flats, so then you feel more comfortable at a certain pace on the ups. And even on the downs, like if you've got higher turnover on the flats, I felt comfortable like running at quicker speeds on the downhills. And then the next week would flip. So then the next week I'd do like a flat tempo, and then my intervals would be uphill. So trying to get both. And then the other key one was instead, I think in the past I've done a lot of easy long runs, and then this one being like, I think 100 k's is such a long distance, but I feel like it just runs so fast these days. And that it was, I did all my long runs in more of like a steady zone too, like for the whole run, trying to less from a fitness perspective, but more from like exposing your body to the impact of running around this area at like higher speeds, a little bit closer to race pace, for like these little bursts every weekend. Yeah. And then the in between days, just they didn't matter, just super easy to recover to be fresh.
Yeah. Well, it certainly showed because I was just watching the live stream of you going through 6-foot track and stuff. Like, you guys were motoring. Like, it was really, really rapid. It looked great.
Yeah, at the time, it doesn't really make much sense logically. I remember running into the 6-foot track age session, the first one, and I try not to look at my splits in the race because I think sometimes you can see a number and it can put you off, like, oh, like I'm moving a bit too fast. But I remember coming in and doing some like a 336 and a 340 into the thing at like 36 and 37 k's, and I was just like, it's so long to go. Like, is that? And that's the kind of thing is like you don't know if your body's going to hold up, so it's a bit like, well, here we go, hope for the best.
Put it out there and see what happens.
It's definitely like a little bit of a Hail Mary, a calculated Hail Mary.
And part of that decision to keep pushing at that point, because you're in second place, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So how close, I'm trying to remember from watching the live feed from Scenic World, the race hub, we were all watching on the screen and, they had the drone. And
yeah.
Really cool, but the three of you weren't too far apart at that stage, were you?
Yeah, it was super interesting because on Narrow I was like a long way back from Mike and Quidu, and I was probably like 600 meters behind them, and was like I was working really hard, and I was like, wow, they're moving so well, and they both climb so well and have such good running form, and I actually believe that they could have just held that for the whole thing, and I was like, oh, it's gonna keep running this pace, and hopefully, like. I actually didn't even think about catching them. I was like, I just got to run this pace because I can't do anything more.
Yeah.
And I linked up with Mike a lot later. It was very gradual.
And Mike Carroll.
Yeah. And it was really nice. I had a chat with Mike for a while, and I also had a chat with Rhett. Gibson,
Yeah.
and yeah, shook my hand, said g'day, and like it was a really nice vibe out there, which I think makes it all the more fun. And then I was shocked to see Gwyn leading on Iron Pot and come back past me because I thought he was just gone. But then, like when I got down onto the fire trail and you could see a long way, I couldn't see anything, and I was like, wow, like he's just disappeared. So I didn't really expect to see him. But then coming into the aid station at 6 foot for the first time, it was right there, and that's like gives you a big boost. And then actually did catch up on the 6 foot track coming back up to 6 foot, and I was leading, but then I got crewed there, and he just went straight through to aquatic, and then so I like pushed pretty hard to catch up again, and then I was so scared of Nellies. Nellies is not something I feel strong on at all. But I think in the timing of the race, I was like, oh, like I have to try to disappear up this.
How important do you think it was, like, to give yourself the confidence to go when you thought, it's hard, but you knew the course pretty well?
It's so important and such a big factor. I did chat to some people about this. It's like even in my brain, I knew that like you get up the top of Nellies and it's like a certain effort up that steep part. But then after it, there's a downhill, and like, you can recover quickly, and there's that single track, and it's like you got some downhill running before the next climb up to the top of the road. And I think knowing exactly where they are, you're like, I've got 15 minutes of like intentional dig deep here. Like I'll get a break and I'll be able to recover.
Yeah.
It's so important, and like it's very lucky that I get to run on all the area all the time, because you can really be calculated about, hey, I'll put in an effort in here because I'm going to get some respite.
And probably knowing that you've got like the that you know well, and you can go, well, I'm going to, you need to be in a certain condition to run number and all of that back end as well. I guess that would factor big time.
Yeah, massively. Like I think I held back a bit on Kadumba because I was scared at how hard the climb would be after that. It's hard to climb it when you run down Kadumba easy, let alone let loose. And yeah, I think I lost a fair bit of time on the descent, but then made it back up on the climb. So it's like, pick what your strength is, I think.
But I mean, you'd been in the lead for quite a while by then. But did you have a good idea of how far back you went?
My crew actually didn't tell me. And I think it's such a blessing, because probably something that was different this race was feeling relaxed mentally, and from not knowing the gap, and just like, I guess, pacing myself to run as fast as I could sustainably, and also set myself up in a way that, like, listening to your body down Kadumba being like, oh, any faster than this isn't going to bode well for the climb. But I had no idea, and then finding out, or like even when he came across the finish line, I was in disbelief, because I had seen and run with him a bit, and I thought he looked really fatigued early. And so that was why I was like, oh, like I'll really go here, because it seems like he's struggling at the moment, but shows how strong he is. Like if I went out as quick as he had, like I would have blown up for sure.
Was he a known entity for you going into the race?
Yeah,
Did you know
for sure.
who he was?
Yeah, I definitely expected to just be behind all day, because I followed Hong Kong 100 earlier this year and saw his win and his awesome interview where he's crying at the finish line, and he's come 10th at Triple C
Hong
and
Kong's
things.
no joke, right? There's
No.
elevation.
Yeah, a lot of stairs.
Yeah, and like I have so much respect for like Mikey Dimimanti's, like an Aussie runner who ran there, and it's like I know how much the guys like Quinn put a lead in that race on someone that like I think is an amazing runner. So I was like, oh my goodness, this is a real deal. So I think was always excited, but didn't think I would be able to run with him. So it was a bit like confusing when I saw him.
So running with him and seeing him so fatigued and thinking, okay, I'm going to drop him. Who are you expecting to be the next person to be breathing down your neck?
I think I always thought Mike could just do anything. I've seen the way he runs, and also like he at Buffalo a few years back, he like made a move on one of the bottom of the climbs, and that I remember that very clearly, and just being like, oh my goodness, like
He's a strong runner.
Yeah, I was hanging out heaps with George Knight as well, and
Yeah.
like I very much was expecting George to just like sneak up and say hello. But yeah, chatting to George, he had some breathing issues early, and then kind of like was able to stabilize and run okay, managing his breathing issues, but he was definitely limited.
Wow, so that puts his performance into perspective, because
Yeah,
what he can fall.
yeah, he's so strong.
Yeah.
He's incredible, and he's such a fun person to be
Yeah.
around. Yeah.
And so were you running scared? Like that's is that how you felt, or were you more just like I'm running the speed I can run. It's pretty good. Just see how it'll be what it'll be.
I wasn't running scared. I was more in the mentality of like run every section as best as you can, like even in terms of like kilometers. And if I could do that and keep feeling strong, I was like, it's just going to be so hard to pull back like a solid gap. And the way I was running, I was like, when I found out the time difference in the end, I was shocked. I was like, wow, like I just couldn't believe it. I thought it would be bigger.
It was close all day, like it really was.
Yeah, and I just was like, for example, from the emergency aid station to the finish, like I like ran up the whole climb except for like the stairs on Furber, and then the gap was still what it was, and I was like, he was obviously feeling great too, and I was just like, so you never know. So I think I was lucky to be not running scared because I think stress and what it does to your body is not good. So yeah, fortunate in that sense, but I did have a few stacks which. I've fallen down them before. I fell down the steel stairs in Lura Cascades and just bounced down them. And one of the other runners turned around and asked me if I was okay and everything. And I was like, I'm not sure. But yeah, I always get wary of like the body seizing up, but it was all good. So I was very fortunate.
Mm-hmm. So to put that finish into perspective, so your time was 9:04.19 and Quinn's was 9:09.41. So 5 minutes. So he was on further stairs when you were you were both on further stairs at the same time. Like that's how close. I mean, I know further at the end of 100 Ks, it's not a 2 minute run, but yeah, that's.
It's actually so cool and it's so crazy, like over 100 Ks. And I think that's the best part about it's really cool to have like competitive races because, you just wouldn't run those races without having that field or even just the awareness of like there's so many good runners behind you that are going to could just be minutes behind you. So it really like gets the best out of everyone. So it's the fun part of getting to enter fields like that.
So because you mentioned it about just, running, a lot of that last section except for further stairs. So for us mere mortals, how much of the course of the 100 Ks did you actually run?
I didn't run the stairs of Nellie's. Like that's not in my wheelhouse at all. That's hiking. There's probably a couple staircases on the cliff top. Like there's one steep one just before Echo Point.
Yeah.
You'd probably know the one.
Yeah.
I hiked that because that just hurts.
And there's one as you come
amphitheater track. Like after that, coming up to Lura Cascades, that was all hiking. Like just really hard hiking. And then I guess most of Wentworth is on hiking up to the nature track as well. That's really steep.
That is.
I
think that's a staircase that a lot of people always like mentally forget about, but it's actually a lot of stairs.
It's a crazy climb. Yeah, that's tough, and that and then I guess and then it's basically was just hiking the stairs further.
You didn't take pole, did you?
I didn't know. No.
That was going to be my next question. Like, how much of it did you have poles? But now we know it's zero.
Yeah, I chose not to this time purely because I think getting to run it on course and see how much of it you're running versus hiking and how I was feeling at the end of long runs running up certain things, I thought it's probably better off to just try run it with the
just extra weight to carry for a long time.
Yeah. But then again, Gwen had poles and was using them well. So I think you could use poles out there and do great. Especially on that last climb. I remember chatting to Charlie in the lead up, and he was like, "Oh, I've used poles for the last climb." And I was like, "Be a fair play."
Yeah.
from like Jamison Creek, you mean, or Lura Creek?
Yeah. And I think it's definitely a pole climb if you want it to be. I just didn't train with poles this time, just to try to lean into the running, and just was like, I'll just go with that. Don't know if it's right or wrong, but just what it felt right.
And nutrition, do you have a sense of how much you were taking, and
Yeah.
or high carb, like
Yeah.
How'd you go with that?
Probably been the biggest change this year in terms of why things have been going better. Previously, I've had a lot of gut issues from taking on. I actually figured out I was taking on too much electrolytes.
Yeah, right.
So I cut out any additional electrolytes, and I just had 90 grams of carbs in like pure race fuel in one flask, and then plain water in another flask, and then basically on the flat sections or the like slight downhills where I could have a bit of a like lower effort, I was having one gel an hour as well. For probably 7 or 8 hours, I would have had 120 grams, and then I had 1 hour. I think in all the stairs of Wentworth, my stomach was just like starting to tighten up, and I skipped a gel and I stopped drinking for maybe 15 minutes to just be like, oh, like I'm only a few hours away, like I can pull back. And then the stomach actually resolved and I was able to take gels again, which I was surprised at. But so maybe as an average, it could have been 110 grams an hour, which for me is the most I've ever had in a long run.
Yeah.
And it felt like I needed it.
Yeah, I bet.
I was like, when I wasn't getting a gel in, I was like, oh, I feel like I'm about to fall apart.
Yeah. When did you dare to believe that you could? Like, when did you think that maybe you could win this? And when did you think that you had won it?
We're in the bag.
Well, I never thought that I'd won it. Genuinely,
Really?
never. No. Even I heard people saying it was only 200 meters back when I was on the boardwalk near Scenic Road. That's why I was sprinting up there. I was like, I was like, no.
I'm losing it here.
But that'd be devastating. So I never thought that I had won it, that's for sure. But then during the farmland section of, before you drop down and link onto the 6-foot track, I could see like the lead bike and Quinn on the climb, and I just noticed that like slowly I was catching, and then he pulled poles out on a short climb, and I was like, oh, like this is a pretty short climb, that's interesting. And I think from there on I was like, oh, hang on, like if you pace it steadily from here and just like slowly pull it back and don't do anything stupid, like you may be able to keep progressing in this way. And so I think that was the first time I had like proper hope or even entertained the idea of being like, oh wow, because before then it wasn't an option or a thought.
I noticed this for me, having watched this race for 17, 18 years or however long it's been going. I really felt this year was the most international field that we'd had across all the distances, but especially in the 100. Did you get a sense of that as well?
Yeah, I definitely did. I think even like there was others that didn't end up making it as well that were really lucky. I was excited to run with as well, like Guan and Deng, who ran Hong Kong 100 as well. Like crazy good runners. Like I've never seen the list with so many 900 index runners. And I was like, my goodness, like how cool is this? And then when I saw the 50 lineup with Ruth and then Miao Yao, I was like, are you kidding? Like that's so cool to have like genuinely two of the world's best female trail runners in the backyard. And then I guess
Dan Jones in the 50, like I mean
I think it lifts the level of everything. But it's also, I thought it was really awesome to hear like interviews with like Ruth and Adrian and them describing like how much they love the Blue Mountains and Australia, and then also hearing them on the back of it being like, I'll be back next year, like from a couple of the athletes that I was listening to. I was like, wow, like they're already, like it was the day after the race and they're saying they'll be back. I was like, wow.
I thought it was also, like over all the distances, I thought it was amazing how much the local Blue Mountain runners featured. You know, like so you had Rubu in the 11, even Elijah in the 22 coming in 5th. Just all the distances, the 50, like, you know, Sarah, top 10 women, and Tom Payton. Really good run. And then Luke Clifton, like, I remember talking to her a week or two before, and she was, you know, she hadn't been put in the top 10 women, you know, because it was just amazing. And yeah, so many age category wins.
Yeah, in such a strong time too. And I loved it seeing on the Strava that she'd taken the time to take some selfies out on course too. I was like, that's so classic. I love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think, was it Ben came seventh in the 50? Was
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Ash Bartlett, who we interviewed before the 6 foot track race this year, and we talked to her about the fact she was doing UTA100 before heading off to do UTMB this year, and she came 10th in
Oh, and
100
of course
as well.
there's the mileage, isn't it? Step Austin.
Yep.
Yeah.
And our very own, our newest staff member at Summit Gear, Tani Hoffman, came fourth in her age group as well. So it's getting into it. So yeah, she was very pumped about that, which is great.
Yeah. So you got to spend a bit of time with Dan Jones running beforehand. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, I did. I don't know how I got to that one.
Yeah.
I just met Dan at this year's GPT 100, or last year, sorry, 2025.
Mm.
And yeah, got along really well. He's such a down to earth, like for how good he is at running. He's just a regular, lovely person. And he messaged wondering if I just wanted to do some running up at Falls Creek before UTA. It's obviously in taper. He was like, oh, like it might be a bit close to go to do altitude training. You might be tapering, but he's obviously kind of trying to get a little bit of altitude before going to Flagstaff, where he is now, before Western States. And so I was like, wow, like sounds like a cool opportunity. I'd rather prioritize a great opportunity like that than try to sit at home and just not move and rest and stuff like that. So went there and ran Falls for the first time, and some great running up there.
Yeah.
It was really nice. It's like at an altitude where it is definitely harder to run, and like uphill running's tough and your sessions are a bit tougher to breathe, but it didn't feel like overly stressful to sleep and recover. So it was great. I definitely realized how much better Dan is still. I was like, oh wow. Like I was like, there's levels upon levels. So it's like I'm glad Dan's doing the 50.
I just can't imagine how someone can run up further that fast at the end of 50k.
Yeah, it's insane. I saw his grade adjusted pace for Ferber. Like that bit was like fourth lap.
Yeah.
And then all his times down Kadama were like 318, 319, 320, 321, and then into like 330, 340 gap. And I was like, whoa. Yeah, so.
But he's so tall and lanky, he's probably only treading on every second step anyway.
It was doubling. Yeah.
But that's not easy either. Like,
well, especially
when I'm tired, I'm like every little step is, you know,
49k
shorter or not.
After pushing. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yes. So that was a wicked experience, and also just to see, like, I think he just does all the basics so well, and there's nothing like mega fancy going on. Just, I think his mindset's really cool. Like I even remember being there, and I was like, oh, like, have you seen the start list for UTA 50? He's like, no, I haven't looked at it. He's like, it'll just stress me out. And then I tell him, I'm like, oh, they put a reel up of you, like it's a pretty sick reel. Like, have you watched it? And he's like, oh, like, no, I accepted it, but didn't watch it. So it's just smarter ways to like keep the chill down and just go out and do your own thing. And I think I like took a lot from that. It's like, yeah, the more you can do your own thing, it's definitely going to help on race stages. Yeah, it was cool. So it's a good experience.
Stay out of your own head.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, just focus on where you are and not sit there thinking about all these hypotheticals that couldn't go wrong and who could be there and this and that, because it's just out of your control, isn't it?
One of the things I wanted to ask you about was knowing how your year or the last 2 years have panned out, especially with the work that you do, supporting other races like as a videographer and helping with courses and things like that. How do you manage, I suppose, your own self-discipline to when you're at a race that's got like a number of events and it's like, oh, it would be so easy to go, yeah, actually, I might just run that tomorrow. Do you mind if I race? And I'm sure you just get given an entry. Yeah, no worries. It's like, how do you manage that to I suppose, keep your eye on the prize of the actual races that you want to target, as opposed to all of the ones that you're exposed to or are at?
Yeah, great question. I think this year, like the idea of Buffalo, I would have been pretty keen to do Buffalo Marathon, but then the fact that 2 weeks before there was a chance to do Razorback and really liking the course, I was like, oh, like I know how busy and how important it is to work for Buffalo in the role I do. So I was like, oh, I'll pick to do the race before, like have the hard race and go have fun there. And then I think after that, I didn't have the FOMO of being like, I want to race because it was, yeah, like the Razorback course is so challenging and it was something new. I'd never done the loop before. So that was one way to pivot into that. And then, yeah, there are all these small events and things, but yeah, I think it is just being, I guess, just trying to stay. I try to race as little as possible, just to, because I know that I don't recover super quickly, probably more mentally from racing. So, yeah, try not to have too many A races. And yeah.
So do you set them at the beginning of the year or at a certain time through, because one thing with being down here is we don't really have an off season. We don't have a winter break, so as such where you have a true off season and recover, and then you get back into it for spring. So like the Northern Hemisphere counterpart. So do you sit down with Cam at a certain part of the year and say, all right, this is what my next 12 months looks like. This is what I'm targeting?
Oh, not lately. After UTMB, I honestly didn't know what my plans or relationship with racing was. That was just such a hard block and really challenging, and I just probably was running so much that I wasn't enjoying running. So I was like, oh, maybe I'm just meant to just run and enjoy myself and not race. And then I did Narrowneck Night Run here, and I had so much fun. And I was like, oh, racing's not the issue. It's my mindset that's the issue. And so something twigged there. I was like, okay, like that's a race. Yes, it's smaller than some of the races, but why can't I work on bringing that kind of mindset of like, you're here to run fast, but you're here to have fun and you're here to share this experience with everyone in cool places. And so I was like, I want to move forward doing that. And then so I, just by myself, I picked, I wanted to do Wentworth as well.
Oh, yeah.
And I signed up for Wentworth, but then I just was really tired the week of. I had heaps of work and I was just like, I don't think it's a good idea. But I had also signed up for Razorback. And the idea of Wentworth was like, have another fun race, but condition the body a bit for Razorback. So I just tried to pick lots of different events that I was like, this is primarily like just for fun. And I had no idea of UTA yet. And then, yeah, it was interesting. I was like, oh, hang on, like I do like this and I like the lifestyle of and all the people it links me up with and all these things. And so I feel like I refound my love of running and was like, all right, like, and then I was daunted because I was like, well, can I do the same with UTA? Like, yes, it's going to be harder, more competitive. Like, can I still have fun while trying to race hard?
Ready for it.
Yeah, which was an exciting thing for me. And yeah, it was awesome. I think above all, it's like nice to be in a race and not feel stressed. And I think maybe a big part of that's being home around all your friends and the local community and on trails I'm familiar with. So maybe it's an unfair test.
Well, I've got to say, you did run too fast because I tried to actually see you as you came out the aquatic centre. When I pulled up, the Chinese athlete ran past. I was like, damn, I missed you. It's too fast. I thought I had heaps of time, but you must have flown through that aid station.
Yeah, I changed my shirt and got out of there. I think the aid station stops were quick because I was just, I think it's like almost that mindset of just like get to the finish line as quick as you can and minimize the time of like that you're under high stress of like running really hard. I was like, the quicker we move out of these things and keep moving. And also you can almost like, you can't think or stress or anything when you just keep moving and roll on to the next section. So I was just like, let's get these bottles and get out.
Well, it did look like you were enjoying yourself out there. Like that was obvious to me. Like even when you came into the race, I remember seeing you in the at the Fairmont. Yeah, and you had a smile on your face. They were whipping out bottles. You're doing your thing, and you weren't panicked. It was just it looked really calm, but you looked like you're enjoying yourself. So I don't know if that was true, but it looked that way. So.
Yeah, it's definitely super hard, challenging too. I was definitely grimacing and grunting and stuff a lot as well. But yeah, I was definitely stoked to be out there, and I felt a lot calmer than usual. I remember just thinking at 70 Ks or something, I was just like, oh, like I'm so happy with the run so far. Like even if the wheels absolutely fell off now and I got it just obliterated into smithereens, I was like, I'd just be like proud of actually like trying to run a race like that, because sometimes it's the scariest thing is actually like, yeah, pushing into
Putting
like,
yourself out there.
yeah, I think, and in taper, my brain is always just like, go safe, go safe, go safe. But you can't really do well in these races with that mindset.
I have to roll the dice at some point.
Yeah, which is like really unnerving. But
Yeah, no, I imagine.
yeah, but yeah,
I haven't had to experience it, but I imagine it is.
That's true.
yeah, it definitely is. But yeah, good weather and running past like so many friends and things like that. I think that all massive contributor to feeling calm and relaxed. Like I'd run past like my mate Julian and stuff, and he's just like he's giving me one-liners and high fives, just like another day in the backyard, and then high five, and I'm like, it's just like good reminders of being like, hey, like you know, this is like, and I'd get to aquatic and run from there. I'm like, this is where you'd start your long run from home. Like just enjoy your long run from home, and so little cues like that were yeah important.
And I mean, I was impressed when I saw your total rest time. You know, obviously through aid stations, 3.5 minutes.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, 3:36.
Wow.
You know, so total over the 100K. Like that's
crazy, isn't it?
yeah, that's.
really
I'm
good.
sure I spend more than that in every aid
Yeah,
station.
that's my first aid station.
This race is, I feel like when I looked at the aid stations, I was, compared to something like UTMB, it's set up so well in terms of for someone that is competing at the front of the field to, I guess, like have a simple nutrition plan and not have to carry heaps of different things or heaps of extra things if it's going to plan. So I think it's like a lot of it's testament to that too. Like even being able to, obviously, maybe that it wouldn't have. It wouldn't have had the time stops from maybe the unmanned ones, I don't think.
No,
But yeah, to have water.
but then they're unmanned, so you're on your own.
Yeah, to have like the ability to fill up like a flask quickly at the end of Narrow-neck and all these things. Like it's quite like a smooth like race in terms of just being accessible to fill all your things up. I think that makes it a lot better. Whereas, you know, if there was 40Ks where you couldn't and they had to load all these different things and you have to think about how many jobs have I got left and all this stuff. So I think that's part of it as well.
Speaking of the end of Narrow-neck, so you got to do the Paris ladder
Yeah.
setup. That would have been your first time doing that, wouldn't it?
I had done it once before
Okay.
with the pegs.
No. I mean, Leah, with the like the page,
yeah, it was
with the
insane.
ladders. Yeah.
I was so impressed with all the ropes around it. And stuff. I actually said, I was like, this is amazing. Like, you dialed the setup, guys. It was so funny, but like coming into it, like the couple sections before, it was like quite wet and slippery. And I like jumped over a rock and I fully slipped and just like landed on my back on a rock like at the top, and I was like, my goodness, like 13 Ks into the race. And I thought I'd almost like, it was so close to just like, yeah, ruining your body so early. But the ladders were awesome and so swift to get down, like good setup, and then yeah, they did a wicked job. So.
A lot quicker than just holding onto pegs.
Pegs are gnarly.
Yeah.
That's I'm not particularly great, but when it's just the pegs, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I've done it at night before. That's an experience too.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, it's actually a bigger drop than I thought.
Yeah.
I was like, it's actually dangerous.
Winning the UTA100 and as part of the, it's a major, world major for the UTMB series. Yeah. So that entitles you to some entries. So where to from here?
There's not too much going on from here, but maybe like in terms of ideas, I'm actually planning to go to Vietnam in September to do. I think I'll do the 50K in the Vietnam Mountain Marathon.
Yeah,
and then back end of the year's free. I'll just probably keep it free for now. I've always wanted to do the 115 kilometer at Madeira Island.
Oh yeah.
Next year, so that would be in April.
So did you do the mile of it?
I did the 85K.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the premier distance there that kind of goes across the whole island is the 115. I think it's 110, but it's like 110 with 7,200 or something, which will be a very different race, and I'll be getting the poles back out. And then Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't anticipate like thinking about like in the lead up to UTA, I was like, oh, UTMB, Triple C is not a goal. But then having like an awesome time at UTA and getting like an entry to Triple C and just, but actually just enjoying racing, I was like, oh, like if we can get a good bunch of friends together from Australia and whoever else we know to meet up and train for Triple C or something over.
Because you can do it next year with
Yeah, I
this
wouldn't
year's
do
win,
it this
can't you?
year.
Yeah,
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't go this year. But if I could do it next year, I'd like to do it. I really would like to focus on just 100 and below for a fair bit. Just
speed work.
yeah, and mostly just in terms of just like less training volume. Yeah. I think it just yeah, a bit of life balance for the next bit, but also UTMB is huge. Like I think it, yeah, it'd be nice to go run during the daytime and do the 100 course and then like if yeah, use that as a stepping stone and be like, oh hey, like I've actually run a lot of the UTMB course and the Triple C course, and then maybe think about that later on.
UTMB, yeah. Then nail the CCC before going to the Milo again.
Yeah, they're such different. I don't know. It's crazy because it's by kilometers they don't seem much longer, but like the difference between 100 Ks and 100 mile is just like so big. Like in training, in recovery, in racing time.
Huge commitment, isn't it? Like, it's like from a training perspective, it's just such a massive thing.
Yeah. So yeah, just go to 100 and below for a bit, I think. So yeah, maybe.
Well, I'm glad that you're going back to Madeira because that was, I mean, that was really your first big run. Or like you got on the podium there, didn't you?
Yeah, that's my second race I'd done, and yeah, it's crazy. All I had was a heart rate pacing plan from my coach, and just went out there just being like, hopefully I can run 85 Ks. I've never run 85 Ks, and that was awesome. That course is so cool. Great mountains, great trails, and kind of it's a nice one to train for here because there is so many stairs, and I think this reminds me of some of the trails in Blue Mountains are like have shades of Madeira. Like I think training on places like Horse Track and even like Thurber is relevant. Like all those climbs like will set you up well there. So
a lot more white rock in Madeira.
Yeah. Yeah, but then it's interesting too. They've got sections of the course which like feel like Australia because they've got eucalyptus trees there. And it's funny, like there's like one of the climbs up to the main mountain. When I went through it in the 85, I was like, oh, I feel like I'm at home in Australia for a little bit, and then it goes completely different. Yeah, see how we go.
Getting back to your time, we need to really talk it up because it was such an exceptional time. So I don't know if you've sort of tracked back through all the race results, but 9:04.19 is actually more than 10 minutes, nearly 15 minutes faster than Gillian ran it. The absolute goat of the trail and ultra running. I know, I was there. I saw him at one of the aid stations. I know how cruisy he was.
He probably did it in his own mind.
But still, stats are stats. You've beaten him. But in all of the history of UTA100, only 5 people have run faster than you.
Yeah.
So, it's really impressive.
And it's a different course too. This one,
well, yeah. So I didn't count the 2022 course that went out. My clients look out because that was much faster.
Yeah.
So that's an anomaly that gets an asterisk. But out of all the others, which are predominantly the same tracks, except for that 6 foot 16K loop. But all of the major highlights. But we just used to run it in reverse, like up Kadumbo rather than down Kadumbo and things like that in the early days. But predominantly probably the elevation and all those stairs fairly similar. So it still holds. That is an incredibly impressive time.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I looked at a couple of the. It's tricky. It's tricky trying to like figure out off old times how to pace this race. And I looked at a few, and all the courses were different. And I was like, oh, and then like knowing where certain ones go, I was like, oh, that's like 10 minutes quicker. That one's 10 minutes slower. Then the old ones went through landslide. Oh, that's way slower. So yeah, there's those factors too. Like
bit further.
But-
this one.
The early days 100 where they had to go down and then go through a landslide before getting onto Narranac would have been
Yeah, up Golden Stairs.
what a
So that was-
crazy start.
Yeah, yeah.
So that
Yeah,
was
to hit that at the aid station was at the top of the first year was that the aid station was at the top of Golden Stairs,
yeah.
and then they moved it to the gate.
Wow.
So it was you're only like 10 or 11 k's in.
Yeah.
But I'd seen people cramping on the Golden Staircase at the start of the race.
I think that's the bit I think of. I'm like, to have to do that at the start of the race before you then hit a runnable part, I'm like, that's tough. That's almost like as now, oh, it's like as cheeky as like having to do the Gross Valley and the miler before the back 100. It's like it's not the way you'd want to do it.
Because everyone's still got race boot fever because it's so early in the race. Yeah, and they've had a week of carb loadings. I remember I was crossing, like, making my way over the landslide. I think it was like 2011, and I had Beth Cardelli in front of me and Julie Quinn behind me. And those two had both went on to win the North Face 100, and 1 year they shared the win.
Yeah.
You know, and they're having a chat, and I'm in between them. Like, what the hell am I doing with these? Like, I should be way back there.
Yeah.
So after that, by the time I got to the top of Golden Stairs, like, you can have. I'm being more sensible now.
Pulled back into recovery mode for a bit. Refuel. Yeah, I even heard from a few people that they reckon the Tarot section cut quite a bit of time off the course. Yeah, they said maybe when it went down Duncan's in the past it was slower.
Yeah.
It's particularly last year it was really muddy and really slippery, but it's further going down Duncan's. Much faster.
I mean, Duncan's is a fairly new,
I never knew it existed. I was
Yeah.
like,
a new tradition.
Yeah.
A new part of the course, and they always went down Tarot for the first 10 or some years.
yeah, okay, yeah. And did they have an option of going both this year?
I thought
Yes.
so.
Yeah, no, they did.
Yeah, wow.
They did, yeah. So kudos to the UTA and Lucas and the event safety team who put that together, and all of both the protections and ropes and that and ladders on both sides. All of the feedback I've seen for the last 2.5 days has been they got it right. It was like people that had waited for 90 minutes. They were really mindful of that, so they were checking their watches when they hit the start of the delay there, and they were like 9 minutes,
Okay.
6 minutes, 12 minutes at best, and I was refueling anyway, you know. So, and that was from people that went both ways. So, yeah, they obviously put in a lot of effort and time to address the issues they've had for the last couple of years there, and got it right. Like, so hopefully that'll just be the norm from now on. Have the two options.
Yeah, I think the only thing that like the only part was that the last 3 hours for like the front of the 100 people was like not even like maybe it didn't slow you down, but I felt like I was inconveniencing people's races a lot by like being like on the narrow single tracks, being like on your right, and if people had like headphones in and stuff, you'd like that was tricky. So you wish we had another day to like have the races separate so that people aren't ruining other people's races.
Yeah.
So you're talking about miler runners or 50k runners?
Both.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that was probably the only like interesting part was just navigating the traffic to back 30. But it was I guess it's like that's a way more minor problem. But I think for like a world major, like that they're gonna have competitive hundreds.
Yeah.
Oh,
That'd
there's
be way
people
too stressful.
And I think where my brain
on the
went,
ladders that there's no overtaking.
where my brain went also was I was like, oh, I can speak English and articulate and tell people with quite a bit of warning, but like Quinn behind me is Chinese and can't speak English. I think, yeah, with the nature of the single tracks and how big the event, it's like you can never fully get it not.
Yeah. Like it sounds like it was an improvement this year over last year with the delays that happened the previous year. And I guess they've moved the start times a bit earlier to try and
They did,
alleviate
yeah.
some of the
And spread out the
Yeah.
waves. You know,
Yeah.
There was so many
But,
waves.
but I don't. Yeah, it's hard. Like you got those three distances all happening together. They're going to intersect at some point, and it all happens in that last 3 hours of the 100. So
Yeah. Not a deal breaker or anything, but yeah, that's one little note that they could. Yeah, I think it will frustrate 100k runners in the future still.
Yeah, it'd be a shame to see a race result being impacted by it.
Well,
that. Yeah.
I think that's the example is if like say the gap wasn't if in the women's it wasn't a 10-minute gap or a 5-minute gap that it was, and if the ours wasn't a 5-minute gap and it was 30 seconds or something like that.
And then closed up.
Then it closes up and then it's a sprint finish and all the time you've worked, and that would be heartbreaking to like come together on Fur because you're waiting on your staircase with 15 people.
Yeah.
So I think there wasn't an issue this year with the races, but in the future it could be an issue.
Yeah.
So yeah, someone would cry for a long time.
It would be hard to stop.
Yeah. But hey.
And even avoiding giant stairs, it was really for that reason, because you could be, come around a bend and there's a whole family just walking down a ladder, and it's like, you're stuck behind them. There's nowhere to go until they all get to the bottom to a landing, and then you can go around, but by that stage, the next 3 runners could have caught up.
Yeah, I think Fernbow is an awesome inclusion. It's definitely and with the repairs there too, it's nice and wide and like just free flowing and good running too. I think people can move down it better, like at a better pace for like a similar steepness. It's definitely a good bet. Yeah.
It's so good to see you enjoying running again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's good to be enjoying running again.
Yeah.
I want to see you two enjoying running again.
Yeah.
I certainly want to get to that point.
It's devastating.
Oh, no. Yeah, that was. But anyway, that's my own fault. Yeah, I can blame myself.
And hanging out at the event in whatever capacity, it's such a good vibe.
Oh yeah. I was actually working on Saturday here, and I was like, Anthony, I'm leaving. And Mike's doing so well, I'm gonna go see finish. And it's like, Anthony's like, okay.
Oh, that's classic. Glad to let you out.
Yeah,
It was,
right.
it was so good to see you both out there. I was frothing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It was very cool.
Yeah, far out. It's a really cool weekend. But I think it's so cool to have so many people up here. Like, get to, even in the lead up, seeing people out, like, training in the bullies. And you can kind of tell that they're out there experiencing it maybe potentially for their first time, or like lots of new faces that you haven't seen before and things. I think it's so awesome. And it is cool for the sport. I mean, even having a live stream that shows the Blue Mountains to everyone and stuff, I think it's wicked. It's good things.
Yeah, and there's already, YouTube videos up of your race and stuff, and it's just, it's so good. Like, you're going to have that as a memory. And I guess, I think the coolest thing is that every year, no matter what, if people walk up to register, your face is going to be there on one of those big flags as the winner of the UTA100. Oh, it's so good. It's so cool. I think it's so cool.
That'll make me nervous.
I just think it's inspirational. I think it's really good. I love watching, when I'm walking up to the registration, you're seeing all those different flags of the past winners and the looks on their faces, or just the action shots that are there. I just think it's really I don't know. It's really cool. It's even better when you know that, if you recognise it, if you actually know the person. So I think that's awesome.
I walked up there with George one night to get bibs on Thursday, and it was a really cool vibe. And it's such a awesome trip down memory lane going and walking through there. It's a neat touch for sure.
Yeah, I was actually at the finish line when Andy Lee came through, when he finished. So he did the miler this year, and it was only his second miler. So I mean, it took a lot out of him, but it was great to see him come in.
Yeah, that mile is crazy. I think both of the races here, and also my experience of the 100, after finishing, I'm like, that's way harder than it is on paper. That's tough. Just purely from the gear changes, from fast running to stairs to long downhill to long up and stuff. That's a hard 100K. That's as hard as, because I did Buffalo and I was like, that's a really hard 100K. And then I did this one, I was like, that's just hard. Yeah. But the stats don't show it.
Yeah. I guess you just, you're running harder. When it flattens out, you're running harder. So, putting stresses on your bodies. And
It's funny, the mentality of seeing race times and being it's a quicker race. It must be an easier race, but the toll moving quicker takes on your body. I think that's the thing of UTA, and then also having the more runnable terrain first, and then hitting the stairs, and then hitting the big downhill and stuff. It's like that's a challenge.
Yeah, it's always a beast coming out of that valley, and yeah, it's coming out of it in, after 100 k's or 90 k's. Next level.
That finish is. I said to a few people, I was like, that finish is cruel. Like as cruel as any race finish.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, like that's.
Well, I suppose compared to a lot of the American and European races, where you're all like, you're coming off a mountain and then, down into the township to the finish line, so you've got this downhill run.
Yeah.
Whereas here it's like, it's up
all
there.
the people live up,
Yeah.
and everyone runs down, and then all the finishes are coming back up to where the people are. So
yeah, I think it's quite
inverted.
unique.
Yeah, it's totally unique because all the races in Europe, if you think about it, like you head out of the town, you run up a big hill, and then when the race finishes, you're coming down from a big mountain.
Yeah.
Well, even compared to, we talked about
it's
Buffalo
quick.
before, and down so New Zealand races the same. If they're mountainous, you finish down the bottom generally. So
And that's nice because you can you go, oh, like I don't need to save my legs. I've got one more downhill. You can just kind of open up and, let's give it a nudge to the finish line. Whereas like the last downhill in this race, if you give that a nudge, you might crawl on your hands and knees out.
You might not come out.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very like tricky mentally to be like, how much do I squeeze out of this? Yeah, it was daunting. Daunting for me. Oh boy.
were there any parts where you were starting to feel twinges of cramp?
No cramp as such. The body, I was lucky the body felt like good generally the whole race. Like my legs were heavy coming up the last climb for sure. Like something I did before Nellie's and before that last climb was like make sure to have a caffeinated gel before them. And I think mentally in terms of just getting into a rhythm and like actually moving up it with purpose was so important. Even perception of pain, like less. But I actually, it's crazy. I didn't have any. The only like muscular thing that I experienced really was like my abdominal muscles. I think just from stabilizing on the downhills, where they started cramping up, and that's when I pulled off the nutrition and fluids a bit. But the legs and things were okay. But when I hit aquatic center, like my quads were hurting, and that's such a weird feeling to hit the aquatic center at 56 k's and be like, I can feel my quads a lot. And that's daunting. And then just, I think, I actually was telling my friends I had this like line in my head. I don't know where I heard it from. It's definitely not my line, but I used it in training sometime too, where I was like, I'd say to myself in my head, like, I trust my body under fatigue. And it would because sometimes I think you get really bad feedback from your body. Like you're going down Kadumba and your legs are stiff and they're not working, but then you almost start running worse because of it. And then when you can relax or like feel a bit more better, confident about it, you run with better form and it doesn't hurt as much. So, in training I was doing that and like still trying to descend Kadumba like quite solidly before climbing out of the valley and being like, this is gonna feel like this in race day. Like, just prove to yourself that your body can handle like moving down this and it not feeling great, but then climb out. And so my quads down Kadumba were like not twinging, but like they were horrid.
Just really fatigued.
Yeah, like they felt horrible. Like running down Kadumba was not good, and I was like grimacing on my face and stuff like that. And people were being so supportive, and I was struggling to dish much back because I was in like a lot of just quads were really hurting down Kadumba. But in terms of like any cramping, no, just a lot of just a lot of soreness.
Did you find just on that you could run a fairly straight line, or were you zigzagging in and out of
Kadumba? Kadumba was great. Kadumba was sweet. I just ran down the right-hand side and it was fine. And all the climb and stuff. The single track into the alongside the Tablelands Road was really tricky. Like the amount of times I jumped over the middle little thing of the forward drive track, and then
isn't that a horrible section?
Yeah.
Is that the worst section of the whole course?
I think it's interesting too because it's like it doesn't take many people for it to be tough because there's only usually one good line there.
Yeah.
It's like it's a full drive track, but it's really a single track.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And there's like so many ruts and puddles and things.
But because we'd had the rain all through last week, there was so many deep puddles and broad puddles. You could sort of see, and then there was because I went and had a good look at that, when I was going out to QVH and when I left to come back. and after my run had gone through, and you could see where they'd have like the flag ribbon going across and go, and you'd see it that it cut, like it would zigzag,
Yeah.
and you're thinking, oh, that's got to kill, because you're almost forced to go down into a puddle and up over.
Yeah. Did you see the video of Ruth going
Yeah.
through the middle of the puddle?
Yeah,
No.
Like waist deep.
yeah.
Like,
It
yeah.
literally was like a cartoon, wasn't it? Where
Yeah.
they run into a puddle and just.
I was like, oh, I'd never be brave enough to go into that puddle. I know how deep that is. And it was crazy, just like straight into it. Just like, but even the mindset just like goes straight through it. It was classic. But she just got straight out and kept powering. I was like, wow. It was like so deep. But yeah. Yeah, no, it was that section in Kadumba were like pretty good. It was more just the like the Wentworth and then the single tracks coming up to Thurber and things. That was the only thing. The rest was pretty easy to navigate. Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for joining us and telling us about how your day went.
Yeah.
We're so pumped. We were like, the Saturday we were just so pumped the whole morning and through the day, seeing how you were going. Oh, how's Mike going? Oh, he's in second. Oh, he's in first now. He's jumped to the lead, and just tracking it. So,
Sounds cheering.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I'd love to just thank you two for being there and supporting me in the lead up, and everyone for supporting me on the day and all the messages. And I mean, even in the lead up and things, I feel like, overwhelmingly feel the love from everyone. And I just love this place and all the people here, and I feel like that's like my whole thing with running. I was like, oh, I love this place so much, love this trail so much, and its people. I want to channel that in this run and not worry about it going a certain way. But it's just lucky to have a smooth sailing day and get to celebrate it with everyone too. So, bit of a fairy tale. So, thanks.
That's awesome. Well done. Congratulations.
Yeah,
So happy for you. Yeah, look at having to a nice guy.
Oh,
yeah,
thank you.
very true.
Making me,
Very true.
I struggle to receive the compliment. But thank you.
Take it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cheers.
Yeah. So signing off with the very humble,
Oh,
exceptionally talented Mike Dunstan.
Yeah.
thanks so much, Rob and Rob.
All right. Cheers.